Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Data. In this episode, we are going to build the next stage of our automated image editing pipeline. In the previous notebook or in the previous video, we used a large language model to generate our segmentation prompt and two other prompts which we would be using for our image editing purposes. But in this notebook or in this video, we are going to use the segmentation prompt generated by the large language model to generate bounding box. As usual, we will be importing the required modules. First stage is to generate bounding box. So you have an image and we would want to generate a bounding box around that. And we are going to do that? We are going to use the Owlbit base model, which is a multi-model model. So what you do is that you give it a text which describes your subject, and the model gets the text and then generates a bounding box for your subject of interest. And I am going to use the pipeline object from the Hugging Face Transformers library to download the model and then create an object for that. What we are going to do is that we are going to pass the model name and the task that we are going to do, and it would create all the tokenizers and all the intermediate objects, download the model and get you an object out of that. Next step is to download image, and for that I will be using the download URL function, which is a function provided by the FastAI library. Now FastAI library is a deep learning library that helps you to build neural networks and also to train them, but it also provides certain nifty functions that you can use in your projects. So this is our image. Next, we are going to detect the subject. We are going to use the text that was generated by the large language model. This is the text that is describing our subject. For us, the subject is butterfly. So this is the butterfly that I was talking about. This is what we want to detect. So what we are going to do is that we are going to feed this text into our model, multi-model model, and it is going to generate a bounding box for us. We will be using the detector function or the detector object. So the detector object is the one that we had got over here using the pipeline function or class. Pass the image and the prompt, which in our case is butterfly. And then we would be getting a bounding box. So as you can see, there is a very lightly marked bounding box here. So this is what we wanted. Now we are going to use this bounding box to generate our mask. So we have got our bounding box. We are again going to feed it into another multi-model model whose job is to take this as a prompt and get the mask around our subject of interest using the coordinates of this bounding box. For that, we are going to use the SAM model or the segment anything model developed by Meta. It is a multi-model model which accepts certain kind of prompts like bounding boxes and segments or creates mask for the object of interest. Now in the notebook that I am going to share in the description box, I have provided link to all these models used. You can visit the model card, read more about those models and play around with that even. As usual, we are going to use the auto classes from the Transformers library. It makes our life easier by downloading the model and creating the required objects for us. So what we are going to do is that there is a processor object that we had earlier created, and we are feeding it the image and the bounding box. It would convert those into numbers or tensors specifically, and we are going to feed all this onto our model, and then it spits out the coordinates of the mask, or again tensors describing the mask, which we are passing on to the post process mask function, which again converts those into pixels, and the final output would be the mask that we are getting. Now in this plot, I have got three masks that were then generated by the model and the relative scores for them, and I'm going to pick this one, as this one is the better looking mask for me. And as usual, I'm going to save it into a PNG file, which we are going to use in the next notebook. The final image that I'm going to use in my next model for as an input to the image editing model or the stable diffusion model. So this is all about creating mask and bounding box for our pipeline. And in the next video, we are going to use all of this to actually edit our image.